Yo, what's up, Toshi here. So, we've made countless videos on Silverwolf, but Honkai Star Rail just officially released a character reveal trailer for Silverwolf. And I already watched it. It was pretty cool. Kafka, you got a date yet? Insinuating, maybe they want you to go on a date with the character. But I found that very interesting. Now, the trailer is pretty good. The teaser, that is, rather not a trailer. The teaser, well, it's the same thing, really, but it's really good. It does show Hackster Buddy from Honkai Impact in the beginning, and it just shows Silverwolf playing Honkai Impact herself, which I thought was pretty unique. I always think that they're trying to get players to play Honkai Impact from Honkai Star Rail, at least in my mind, and I think this is one of their ways to do that. But overall, I think she's a really nice character, and this only solidifies something I already know, and something you probably already knew, right? Now, there is countless people making videos on Silverwolf. I did tune into a stream from Sakapoko, and he basically explained everything I want to say about Silverwolf to a T. She lowers your resistance, she decreases your defense, and she overall increases the damage capabilities of your whole team. I think she's going to be a very good character overall, even if she doesn't put the weakness on the enemy. And he basically said that, which I've said in all my videos. Now, I did watch a video from Bazer. I watched a video from him. He took it down, I think, but he was basically going over Silverwolf, what he deemed of Silverwolf having as a weakness of the character overall and how she functioned, and he brought up a pretty good point. There is a little bit of RNG in the character, because of the changes she received over time. Now, if you don't have the character maxed out, if you don't have the character's, constellations, you're going to be missing out on some of them levels, which gives you a percent chance added into the chances of her working and her kit functioning overall. She's still going to be a very good character, but she will have a slight RNG element to her, which he brought up in his video, which is not on his channel anymore, but it was a very good point nonetheless. Now, we are on one of my many accounts, but I am currently at 69 pity into the limited banner. Heck. Anyways, I'm immature. 69 pity, so my next character will be a 5-star in about 7-ish summons into the banner. Now, I'm going to go for Silverwolf for one reason and one reason only. Seele. Only because of Seele. You might have thought that I would go for Silverwolf just because she is Bronya Jr., but you are sorely mistaken. She's going to allow Seele to be a much better DPS overall. Being able to put quantum weakness on the boss is going to be extremely strong. Even if you don't put the quantum weakness on the boss, you still have a character that shreds defense. That's going to be very nice because whenever you would want to bring Seele into the team composition against bosses that are weak to single target damage, right? Or any other hunt character you would use like Seele, you ideally would get tons of more value having Silverwolf into your team comp. Here's something cool to keep in mind. Whenever you do have this quantum set, which you probably will be building on your Seele regardless, you will have the effect at all times if you have Silverwolf in your team comp. So you will be able to have the additional 10% ignored defense because you will have had put the quantum weakness onto the boss. I think this is something a lot of people have not taken into consideration regarding Silverwolf and what she's going to do for Seele overall. Now, I was watching a video from Hellbent Free to Play. They made a video a while back and it was actually a really good video. I recommend you go check it out. I will probably have it on the screen and have a link somewhere on the channel. In that video, they mentioned that Pela could be used with Silverwolf potentially. So the defense decrease mechanic in the game actually stacks with other decreased defense mechanics, which is pretty good. So whenever you have a decreased defense debuff, you can put another decreased defense debuff on the enemy and both of those will stack, which will in turn give you a massive overall decrease on the enemy's defense. So Pela is a nice character that comes to mind because maybe you would want to use her with Silverwolf. Now, let me explain to you why. So if you do actually have this bonus ability on Pela's trace tree, you can actually give 10% effect hit rate to all allies on the battlefield. That's going to be very nice for a character like Silverwolf who honestly wants a ton of effect hit rate to ensure you land your debuffs on the enemy. Silverwolf will also increase the damage for Pela overall. Let's say your Pela doesn't have her defense down ability right away. Well, she will be able to deal more damage when the enemy is debuffed because Silverwolf will give tons of debuffs on the enemy. Attack down, speed down, defense down. So many debuffs that Silverwolf can potentially put on the enemy, which allows your Pela to do more damage. Also, Pela will be getting much more energy because the enemy will also have been debuffed. This is really, really good considering she's a character in which you want to make sure you have as much uptime on your ulti as possible. Now, as I explained previously, Yangqing is going to be really good with Silverwolf because ideally wherever you would bring Yangqing, which is mostly single target DPS fights because you wouldn't want to bring him in a situation like you would bring Seele all the time where you're fighting multiple enemies. Well, Yang Qing is going to get tons of value because, well, Silverwolf pairs very nicely with him. And not only that, but if you end up using Yang Qing with Pela and Silverwolf, you're going to have a ton of more damage on the enemy. So if you have Pela's 4th Eidolon or Constellation, you're able to reduce the ice resistance of the enemy by 12%, which is very massive considering that is a net DPS increase not only for Pela, but for Yang Qing as well. And then because Silverwolf can actually decrease the resistance of the enemy herself, the resistances of the enemy, which is very nice because it allows you to do even more damage on top of that 12% resistance decrease you may have from Pela C4 or Eidolon 4, which adds a lot more damage overall to the team comp. And she can also put that ice weakness that you have on your team onto the enemy, which will make it a lot more easier to proc because you have another ice character in the team. That is going to make a team comp that is going to be very nice whenever you're fighting harder content where you need to focus down on single target DPS. Now, you honestly might be thinking that the only value you get out of using Silverwolf is essentially in a full quantum team. Now, we don't have any quantum characters in the game really other than these two, but with Silverwolf coming into the mix and then later on Fuwan, who we know is going to be another quantum character, QQ is not the ideal character to have in this team comp. Now, honestly, there will be another quantum character coming in the future, and I'm sure there is some in the leaks that maybe even old man Toshi doesn't know about. Now, if you do know what the leaks are, you can tell other people in the comment section. Just make sure that they are okay with spoilers. So essentially how this team comp would work is, let's pretend that Herda's actually Yang Qing. Let's pretend March 7th is Jetpard, who I don't have. But let's just say, maybe you don't have Jetpard either, and you can use March 7th in the place of the character, which is absolutely okay. And then you have Pela, who is going to be very valuable with Silverwolf, and then you would have Silverwolf right here. I probably have pictures on the screen so this doesn't look as confusing as I'm trying to explain it, but all you really need to know is that you would have one quantum character and you would have 3 ice characters, which would make putting the ice weakness on the enemy a lot more easier. And that would help with allowing your team comp to then make the enemy frozen after you break the ice weakness of the enemy. She's going to be really good because I think she will make shield breaking a lot more easier in the game. We'll just have to wait and see exactly what I'm trying to say here, because if that's the case, then she may just become a meta pick. But again, we'll have to just wait and see. Now, lastly, I want to wrap up and say she's also going to be really good with Den Heng, because ideally, whenever you're using Den Heng, you probably would use a character like Bronya, which I don't have on this account, unfortunately, but I do have on the main account. And if you're using Bronya with Den Heng, then you will also get a lot of value with using Silverwolf. I think she's going to be a very nice universal support, debuffer, and honestly a decent damage dealer if you maybe have her best in slot light code, or you give her some crit rate and crit damage. But this is going to be the video here. I hopefully you got something out of this. I tried to make this as concise and as informative as possible. I'll let you all know that I do stream daily now going forward on Twitch. That's right, twitch.tv/Toshio. The link will be in the description. I suggest you come hang out. It's usually a good time, and I try to answer every question that anyone may have. Thank you for watching. Best of luck to your Silverwolf pools in the near future, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.